Good afternoon to my panelists and to my audience. I'll tell my audience that I've not met my panelists before. We've only met on email once. And I would like to thank all of you for staying till the end. This is the last panel, and if I was a marketer and this was my TG, my target audience, they're ready to buy what I'm selling right now, and I'm very happy with the turnout. See, in a nutshell, I honestly believe marketing is nothing but soft power. Beyond all quantifiable, measurable stuff, you should like what I'm selling. And I'll start with one example. Last year, during the US elections, before the results were out, Donald Trump was seen serving fries at McDonald's. As it happens on social media, everyone accused or blamed McDonald's of supporting Trump in a subtle manner. What did McDonald's do? It just put out a post on social media reminding people the love US has for McDonald's and the world. Within 10 minutes, the love for McDonald's returned. Now here, the most important bit was the platform it chose to share this message. Social media, because the elections were run on social media. That's where the influence took place, that's where the decision happened. Even afaqs, the fact that you stayed here for a conference from the morning till the end, just shows the power of soft power, and especially the stage. And now, my topic is about the platform itself. Which one do you choose to build your soft power? Is it good old television, even print, the ones many of you grew up on, or for younger crowds, the OTTs and the CTVs and the many stuff here? And I like to start with you, sir. You are from the real estate. And I think you're one of the most unique ones because hardly do you have a repeat customer. I buy from you once, I'm happy for a lifetime. My kids will be happy for a lifetime. Print, which for many, print was the go-to factor when reading up on real estate or building trust. There's a lack of leadership today. How do you deal with it? That must be the biggest challenge, right? As you move to other screens, as I could put it. Just a moment, we're buffering.
That's why technology is not really that great as we think. Uh, I'm very happy that I've been invited on this panel because it's kind of nostalgic also for me because I used to work with Times of India around 15, 18 years back, and I've been there on both the sides. I've been a client and I've been a media advisor, seller, brand guy. So one thing is for sure, print has the dominance when it comes to credibility and trust. And इसीलिए when we say also लिख के दे सकता हूँ, we don't say type करके दे सकता हूँ. And that's the power of print. And as a real estate company, yes, there are few repeat customers. And for real estate, the market is actually hyper-local. And when you want to launch something which is addressed to a certain category of audience in a certain geography, print makes tremendous sense. And it also depends on the category to category. And as long as the print stays relevant, as long as they're able to serve ad relevant audience to advertiser, print makes sense. Now, you mentioned about the loss in readership or circulation. Now, that is inevitable, and that is inevitable for all conventional formats, whether it's print, television, out of home, or any other format for that matter. Because primarily, the way consumers are consuming media, the amount of media is being consumed by an average person has multiplied by leaps and bounds. You can't even imagine. I've seen the era where घर में एक पेपर आता था, घर में एक टीवी होता था, और एक चैनल होता था. Now we have migrated to OTTs, Netflix, and customers choose how they want to consume media. They choose how they want to consume news. It's not that people don't consume news. They don't consume, what's happening around them. But the way they have reshaped that, I think so the print has to catch up. As far as Raymond is concerned, we do print, but we do print discreetly. we use it only when we are launching because it's kind of information broadcaster for me, you can say now. That yes, we are launching in this market, and when it comes in print, it becomes kind of a reality. Yeah.
You mentioned print, you mentioned how you go about it. What's the alternative to you today? As your, let's say, buyers are getting younger, they might not be print readers at all. Where do you go to catch them?
See, I wish my buyers are young. Real estate in Mumbai, it's super expensive. So needless to say that, my TG is definitely 35, 40 upwards. Because in Mumbai, nothing comes less than 1 crore. There's nothing called as affordable housing. It's all, unaffordable housing, I'll call it that way. And print gives me that set of audience, like, let's take example of Times of India, which is the #1 daily English newspaper in India and in Mumbai. Now they give a circulation of close to around 800 to million copies, they claim. And when I do advertisement there, I do with lot of confidence कि boss मेरे को 10 कॉल से ज़्यादा नहीं आएगा, okay? And I'm ready to accept that कि I won't get a sales response from a medium which is not meant to do that now in today's world. Sales or performance marketing, which is the buzzword now, performance is definitely driven by all digital domains. Whether it's social media, whether it's paid search, whether it's organic, whether it's CTVs and all that. So all those new age medias have become the primary performance marketing tools, and print is kind of a support.
Okay, we've heard you. We've heard your belief in print, and also a request from all of us to create more affordable housing. Many of us will open our phones and call our bankers right now for a loan if we get to hear about it. I'll move to Kanika. You heard him. You're also the wealthiest. Airtel is the wealthiest in this room when it comes to first-party data. Tell us, how do you see the Indian consumer today moving from across screens? It's very fluid. If I'm watching, or let's say I'm streaming an IPL match on CTV, the moment an ad break appears, I'll switch to my smartphone. That's very quickly. How do you, as a brand, a media owner, and a marketer / advertiser, map this consumer journey for us today?
The way I look at it is the fact that today screens are diversified. We don't have one choice. There's no one size fits all advertising. That doesn't exist because there are so many screens. Also, the consumer journeys become more fragmented, more diversified. So the number of channels, the number of platforms you have to be present on are far large and wide. Now you can't, a burst approach also doesn't kind of work. You have to be like always on salient. Because what is happening is consumers are moving in and out of channels. They are watching the content and the choices as per their needs and preferences, or whatever is getting trended, more talked about. So that's the way consumers are changing. So therefore we map our journeys, any campaign, anything that we do is far large and wide. Like it's no more restricted to say only 100 channels. Today it's about CTV also, some bit on mobile. So it's everywhere. But also the fact that today it's about attention in a, this world is moving to an attention economy. It is no more a world of just viewability or impressions. And the way I classify attention as one is active attention, one is passive attention, and one is there is no attention. There are these three phases, right? Like you rightly said that, when you're watching an IPL match and then you switch off and then you go to another screen, you have so many options. So maybe the ad was playing then and then you kind of went out of it. There are various formats which are also emerging. Now today only in YouTube session, if any one of you heard that, there are pause ads, there is immersive advertising, there are ways and means to do it. So today it's about getting consumer attention, which is difficult for a marketer, but then you have to explore your options. That's the way I look at it.
If I could ask you to explain, the recent campaigns around Airtel's anti-fraud, anti-AI work, it has to be attention focused because you're telling us that, hey, we are here to solve a very pandemic level problem for Indians today, especially. Many people, despite knowing what's happened, knowing it's a fraud, fall for it. How do you manage, what channel do you, what screen do you choose to catch their attention?
So we take like almost all channels, but the stages of the campaign varies. Like we launched the campaign with influencer leg.
I'm sorry, could not hear you.
Influencers.
Okay.
So we launched it at an event with influencers because the campaign that we are currently running, it's about detecting frauds which are coming to you through WhatsApp or SMS, all of those means. The first phase that we launched was about that you could detect spam calls and it will show on your screen. So the user could experience that he's getting spam calls. But in this case, you rarely get spam on your WhatsApp. You don't get links of that. So you had to make people experience it and talk about it. It was not just about, okay, I've launched this. It wasn't about that. It was just about landing that experience. So we use the influencer marketing as one of the starting platforms. We started with some cat kind of influencers. And then in order to continue it, we reached out to almost 180 plus influencers. So usually a campaign for us would have 25 to 30 influencers. But today, in today's time, it is going way across. Like you can't have enough reach with only 20, 25 people. You need to expand your horizons because consumers are looking at authentic stories. And today I'm trying to percolate my stories down the line, not just in metros, but even beyond that. So we're looking at even Cat B, Cat C kind of influencers, and that's how we built the campaign.
I hear you. And Deepak, I'll come to you. You've heard both of them. You've heard about influencers, print, everything. It's clear planning for a multi-screen world is incredibly essential. As an agency leader, how do you and your folks go about it? Because it's easier said than done. Something may work on a vertical screen which may look absurd on, let's say, CTV. How do you plan for it, considering you work with a diverse set of clients?
So thank you for the question and a very interesting one. And thank you for introducing the word attention. So gone are the days where we spoke about single screen GRP. Today we live in a world which is multi-screen. And if you look at the core strategy that we use is multi-screen strategy. So not only is it TV, CTV, mobile, but also digital OH, which is becoming part of the narrative. If you look at our planning frameworks, the planning frameworks are now built to optimize complete views, through play views, even attention. So today I have a list and a tool of priority placements to drive attention, and the tool is able to optimization cost per attention, right? When I look at the third step is I measure it, and I'm able to compare my plan or my competition's plans on that platform, and then make interventions as simple as dynamic ads, just to drive attention, right? And you input all those variables to make choices, and that's the world that we've evolved to today.
How do you prepare then if, let's say, a client comes to you and says, this channel, this screen for me, but it's not working for them? How do you convince them today? Because you want to catch attention, but there's also a lot of FOMO. A brand may feel, no, I want to be here, but it's not the right move for them. How do you convince them?
See, every client, or rather every human, has their own preferences. The preferences could be because of some first-hand observation that my wife or my mother watches this, and or first-hand experience of historical success of that touch point, right? In a world or a situation like this, data trumps logic, right? So you use historical learnings, you use scenarios, and also run small A/B tests to identify which touch point is working better, and depending on the stage of life cycle of the brand or the penetration of the brand, you will be able to identify certain set of items that work, and that becomes your planning model.
Okay. Sujata, I have to ask you this. You heard about A/B testing. Now, I strongly believe this, and I've seen this as evidence, that I see a lot of television ads appear on CTV, on mobile, on every other damn screen today, and it's awful because I've been covering advertising for a while, so I can make out what's working here, what's not. Are your clients the same? Like, hey, let me repurpose my old TV ad from 5 years ago and run it on Jio Hotstar when the IPL is playing?
So see, times have changed, right? So we started A/B testing with Google Meta around 5-7 years back already through machine learning and artificial intelligence, which was used at a very small level, but it was mainly in their ecosystem, that creatives were getting A/B tested and only then utilized. Today it is expanded, and every client, most of the client, I would not say every client, most of the client are already aware that, you know, the same creative that works for a 15-second or a 20-second television platform will not work on, you know, your YouTube also, or even on CTV or OTT. So the creatives are made such. So we now have horizontal creatives, vertical creatives, which are more appealing on the, you know, handsets. And there are also shorties, because, you know, we should remember that today the short format videos, they are growing at, I mean, huge scale, right? So creatives are made to suit those as well. And, you know, for a client, what really matters is that the communication is coming across. So they are open to understanding that, and we have partners who create it in case the client's creative agency is not able to create, right? So that's one of the given things today.
Okay. Clients, no. They understand it better now than, let's say, 5-7 years ago. But are they ready to shell out money? Because CPM is not, how do I put this? I don't want to say cheap, but it takes money. Are they willing to put money?
So, well, you know, there are two parts to it. When it comes to creatives, they don't have a choice. I mean, they want their communication to be reaching their audience. If they don't come up with the proper creatives, their ads will be one in the, you know, one drop in the ocean, right? So it'll just get lost. So they are open to spending, and we also have partners who are ready to kind of create, you know, the creatives for us as per the requirement. Now coming to CPMs, you mentioned, you know, so for most of the OTT and CTV or digital, the format still remains CPM, while we are talking about, you know, CPAs, CPLs, of course, those are for the lead ads. But the normal digital branding campaigns are still bought on CPM to an extent that, you know, when we talk about CTV, you know, look at the fact that we are all talking about CTV, but the penetration of CTV, if you were to see the ad spends, is not even 1% of the total ad spends, right? It is not. So, you know, the CPMs lead to certain amount of spends, but the ads go somewhere and the discoverability becomes problem. So in a platform, say it is a Samsung platform, the OEM is Samsung, there are multiple apps. Where does your ad go? With the CPM, you will not even know, right? And it's also possible that it will be on one show on one OTT where it will be running some 10 times, because there's no measurement. That's the second challenge. So there are, I mean, challenges in this space quite a bit, and it needs to get addressed. But, you know, that is how the industry is, because we have so many walled garden.
I'm glad you brought up this word show. And this is a question I want all of you to answer. Is there a particular show or a platform or a screen where your clients want to talk about a lot, or where both of you want to advertise once? Show, movie, for you, newspaper.
See, then I don't want to get biased, because then I'll be exercising my personal choice on Mr. Singhania's very hard-earned money. So I don't want to do that. But yes, if given a choice, it depends on, you know, which category I'm advertising, which audience I'm chasing. Like when we do, like we use a lot of CTV actually, because of obvious reason, we have to go hyper-local, we have to geo-fence the campaign, and we don't want to broadcast to the world. We want to just, you know, reach out a specific set of audience. So for us, it makes sense. And looking at those blockbuster OTT series, you know, which is there, you know, each OTT platform has those series. We use them very, very effectively, and very happy that our completed ad rate is as high as around 40%. So, which actually solves the purpose.
Can I take a guess and say, if once the ads start piling up on Prime Video, you will go for Family Man because the protagonist is still looking for a interest-free home loan despite the third season starting?
Yes, family man, because I represent a brand which is about a complete man. So complete man and the family man go hand in hand.
How about we start with Deepak, Kanika?
Sure. So I want to try and experiment a combination of top English content and top regional content and large screen TV and 8 Mbps or 10 Mbps connection. That allows me to really get a filter of the cream of the society.
Fair enough.
So I'll tell you about a few of the examples of what we've done at Airtel. So there were many campaigns that we've ran only for certain specific regions. For example, IPL this year, we took only for 4 particular markets. So the way we look at it is, because I had to only geo-target them, it really worked well for me because I don't need to spend, unnecessarily extra money running an all India campaign. So there are choices you can make, and I think CTV or digital gives you that leeway, whether it's any platform, mobile or CTV. The other thing that we've seen that from a content choice standpoint, there was a campaign that we did for Airtel Wi-Fi, where I had to talk about entertainment content. Because what today Wi-Fi helps you is provide more entertainment. And we latched on to content which was more popular across all OTTs and run like a 5-second ad. We almost pasted their promos. We ran with that. So there are lots of ways and means again. So I think it works very well if you cherry pick the content which is relevant to your brand, and then it helps you amplify your brand scores. So finally at the end of it, I want to be seen in an environment where my brand fitment is also there, and it creates a deeper impact for a consumer. So that's what we did. And not only that, from a measurement standpoint, we also looked at attribution. We looked at all channel level attribution, all platform level attribution, and we were able to map how our search volumes were moving when we were doing certain kind of content or platforms. So I think there are ways and means, and digital gives you that feedback loop, and I think that's more critical.
Please take it away, take it home.
So, the advantage of digital, then OTT, then CTV is precision targeting, right? So, geo-targeting, precision targeting. But the only thing we need to remember is that when it comes to CTV, etc., for our clients, something like an IPL or a Shark Tank works wonderfully well. But and because it also has a lot of measurement and, your brand lift studies, etc., it keeps coming back to you and it gives you that advantage on the brand. But when it comes to overall CTV, overall OTT, as an industry, we are still lagging behind. We need to have one unified measurement, so that we can come back and say, okay, while every agency has created their own tool, the data behind needs to merge. Only then, we can arrive at an incremental reach and total reach kind of a thing. And ultimately, like even Puneet, when he was talking, what is it that the clients want? Value-driven outputs, right? Outcome is what we are looking at. Hence, everything needs to come together. We've seen enough and more of cases where it is done well, like this year IPL, for a brand like UB, they were the number 5 most recalled ads because we also did geo-targeting, audience targeting, all that happened. But it is IPL. The same if we take a genre like news on CTV, it will not happen, right? So, I mean, there are a lot of nuances to how we go about planning, but ultimately all of us are looking at outcomes, sales, that's what our core target is.
Outcome, sales, value, print, A/B testing. So many words. But in the end, I'll still say everything put together. If you like the brand, even if it's for a reason that you cannot describe, then these marketers, these agency professionals have done their job splendidly. And yes, the timer's up. I've done my job, 30 minutes. That's how I think every marketing campaign should be. Come in, do your job, go away. And yes, thank you so much for being a very patient audience. If anybody has any questions, since this is the last panel, I can request my colleague Shantanu to give us time. Anybody has any questions, something I may have missed, please feel free to ask. Anybody has any question? I think they've bought what we sold right now. Thank you so much.
I think there's a lady over there. She was raising her hand. Yes, do you have a question? Okay. Nobody? Anybody? For the first time, we have time. So if you have questions, please feel free to. All right.
This is what happens every time, right? When we are on holiday, the time goes by fast. And when we are in school, time doesn't pass by. Look at them.
So I think that's it for the panel. Thank you so much, all the panelists.